Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. In today's video, we're going to be doing a deck tech on Katsu Blitz. For me, I wasn't going to do a Katsu Blitz deck tech solely because I think that Aggro and Benji are just kind of better options right now in the Blitz format. We only have 1 week of skirmish left, but I saw a couple people in my last few videos stating that, they're new players, they really like Katsu, and they want to know like what I would run for a Katsu Blitz deck tech. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'll give you my thoughts on how I would approach it. Like if I was taking Katsu to a skirmish or an armory, or even a battle hardened, who knows? Like this is the list I would run. Take it with a grain of salt. Let me know what you think about it. It's just one person's opinion on how to play Katsu. But for the Blitz, it's a little bit different than my CC build. And I'll try to explain why when we get into it. But Katsu's the hero. This is the adult version, as the young version is somewhere around here. But the adult version, but it does count towards your 52 cards, right? Because you have 12 extra cards counting your 40 card deck. So 41 makes Katsu with his 2 Kodachis. Pretty similar. You're always going to run the Kodachis. I don't run Zephyr Needle or Talishar or anything crazy like that. The simple Kodachi method does just fine. For the main board of equipment, I'm running Mask of Momentum, Findel Spring Tunic, Breaking Scales, and I'm running Snapdragon Scalers instead of Breeze Rider Boots. I know I rant and rave and just talk about Breeze Rider Boots all the time, but with this format right now, I think I value, so in the CC build, like I value a lot of the cool lines that CC affords you the capability to do, and be able to play throughout the course of a game, like the Break Tide line, right, and being able to weave in and out of different lines. But in Blitz, I want more of a like super honed in list where with every given hand I need to be able to fix it, right? Breeze Rider Boost doesn't always allow you to fix every given hand. However, it does have a higher ceiling, but I don't want to be able to miss a hand. And there's a couple cards in here like Snatch and Soul Bead Strike where I'm forcing my opponent to block more, and Snapdragon Scalers allows me to do that. So I'm just running Snapdragon Scalers. Again, in CC, I will run Breeze Rider Boots all day, but in Blitz, I'm running Snapdragon Scalers. For the sideboard, I'm running Null Rune Robe, Null Rune Gloves, Null Rune Boots. I run everything but Mask, Null Rune Hood in the Kano matchup, and in any other Rune Blade matchup, I just run the gloves. I personally like to keep Mask of Momentum in play when I'm playing against Kano because I want to threaten Mass Trigger with like my early Kodachis and then an attack to force him to make a decision point. I'm also running Heart and Cross Trap in the sideboard. I will use this against Brute, and I will also use this against Chain, and Briar. Basically, Brute, Chain, Briar, and possibly Dawnblade Dorinthia. If I know it's going to be a Dawnblade Dorinthia, I'll run that. And then my final slot that's not in here, I haven't 100% decided. I probably would end up running Ironhide Gauntlet because just a Benji. I really don't have anything else I'd want to run in this sense. So it's probably going to be Ironhide Gauntlet in the list. You can check the list out down below. But this is the basic equipment that I'm running. Like I said, run Heart and Cross Trap in Brute, Briar, and Chain, and then run the Null Rune Gloves in Briar, Chain, and potentially Viscerai, and then finally run all 3 in the Kano matchup. So that's the basis of that. So that's the equipment suite. We'll get into the deck here. So first we'll go into our cards that are not attack actions, right? We're running 2 Ancestral Empowerments, 2 Plunder Runs, 2 red even bigger than that, 1 yellow even bigger than that, and 2 Razors. Very similar to my build in CC with the exception of Plunder Runs, obviously. Pretty simple. Ancestral Empowerment, Razor Reflex, look to give a lot of our attacks go again. With Razor Reflex, we get that +1 to get over the top of the Ancestral Empowerment. Plunder Run, just like it was before the ban, and it's still good in Blitz. Really good on like a leg tap for 7 or a Surging Strike for 8, or even like a Soul Bead Strike for 7 or a Torrent Tempo for 8. They're just really good cards. And then obviously Snatch for 7 is really good. And even bigger than that, this is a way to give our cards more gas in the deck and be able to consistently put more pressure on our opponent. But our 40 card deck, we're running 9 total cards that are not attack actions, which is pretty good ratio for us. And honestly, what I would, just continue to do, I don't see me doing anything different with this. It's definitely worked out the best. So actually, we'll just put these over here. So that's the cards that are not attack actions. Like I said, again, 9 total cards in the deck. So the basis of this deck is to hit breakpoints, force cards from hand, right? In this meta, there's a lot of armor with Viscerai and with Oldheim, right? Even Dorinthia is walking around, right? There's a lot of like really aggro based decks in Kasai, who also has a lot of armor. A lot of people that can do a lot of value with 2-card hands and really good value with 3-card hands. So you want to make people block. So the only way to do that is to present breakpoints and combo stars as quick as possible. So the first thing I'm running obviously is a Surging Strike line. It forces blocks from hand very quickly. I'm then running the leg tap line, right? And then those are the two main lines that I'm running. I'm not running the Break Tide line in this deck. I'm not running the full Soul Bead line, just Soul Bead Strike itself. But these two, I want to see these as much as possible to be able to, start to force my opponent to block and respect my hands a little bit more. Surging Strike, I'm running 2 of those, 2 Whelming Gustwaves and 1 Against Your Release, and then obviously Lord of Wind on my blues when we go and talk about that. And then for leg tap, I'm running only 1 Rising Knee Thrust and 1 Blackout Kick. The reason I'm running a Blackout Kick is because I like with Rising Knee Thrust, potentially off even bigger than that, 3 go again, or just snap it if it hits and then go get Blackout Kick for 7. Blackout Kick is really good to push damage and blitz, right? Like if they're down to 3-4 life and I can hit a Rising Knee Thrust and then go get Blackout Kick, it really puts them in a bad spot hitting for 7. So it's really good. But I only want to see Rising Knee Thrust if I'm searching for it or if it's in my hand with leg tap. So I don't want to run 2 of them and force bricking my hand because we do not want to do that in Blitz. This format's just too fast. For my other attacks, I'm running 2 Soul Bead Strikes, 2 Snatches, 2 E Strikes, 2 100 Winds, 2 Torn Tempos, and that's the other attacks in the deck. So Soul Bead Strike's just a really good 4 breakpoint. It does have conditional go, and I understand that. I thought about putting Head Jab in for a little bit, but I like the fact that it's going to force an armor block, or it's going to force a defense reaction. It's going to force something. I need to make them block with cards from hand, and this card just does it more. It just does. Snatch, we all know what Snatch does in Katsu and its applicability. Torn Tempo is really good. 100 Winds is really good. All these cards can be snapped with the exception of Surging Strike, so really good for that. So that's my cards in that part of the deck. Overall, again, as you can see, forcing break points, forcing a lot of decision points by our opponent, and try to get cards out of hand, because that's how Katsu's going to win in Blitz right now, is forcing them to block. Like, you have to constantly present that. So from our blues, all of our blues, with the exception of Lunging Press, are 2 power, 3 block blues. That's the only reason we run them. We do not want to whiff on even bigger than that, and we want 3 block blues to be able to help to our block if we absolutely have to. So we're running 2 Fluster Fists, 2 Fine Centers. This is technically in the non-attack action spot. 2 Lunging Presses, 2 Lord of Winds, 2 Winds of Eternity, and 2 Soul Bead Strike. So the Fluster Fist and the Fine Center are literally 3 block, 2 power blues. Only reason we have them in the deck. That's what we want them to do. They do their job. Lord of Wind obviously couples with the Surging Strike line, and then Winds of Eternity couples with 100 Winds itself, which is really good in like the Oldhim matchup if you can get this to hit, and then go get Winds of Eternity to be able to play 4, cycle back into your deck, and force them to maybe have to block it out. And then Soul Bead Strike, I just like this in an aggro-based build. It's one of the most undervalued Katsu blues in my opinion. It's a 3-block blue that you can attack with, and it gets go again if it hits. Like, it's just really good. Running a total of 12 blues in the deck, which, I don't want to do 14 because I want to be a little bit more aggro-based than Ira. So that's the basis of the deck. And then we're running the 2 Lunging Presses because they're cheeky, they're great, and they're, can pitch them for blue for Kadachis if you absolutely need to. Kind of the differences in CC with this, other than my CC build, other than Breeze Rider Boots, is like I'm not running the Break Tide line. Break Tide line's good with Breeze Rider Boots. It's just not consistent enough with snaps, and I don't want to brick my hand. So I'm not running that. I'm running a little bit less ratios on like my second tier combo cards, except for Whelming Gustwave. And then I added stuff like Snatch and Soul Bead Strike back into the deck because they're 4 breakpoint attacks that force your opponent to block. And that's what we want to do with this deck. Hopefully we can use even bigger than that on cards like Snatch, cards like Enlightened Strike, heck, even cards like Soul Bead Strike and Torn Tempo. Basically, with the exception of 100 Winds, right? These are the cards that we want to hit with even bigger than that. These 8 cards. These are like the money cards for even bigger than that, and then it kind of goes down from there. Overall, hopefully this makes sense. Very simple. I understand Katsu enough now to know what I would do with this deck, so it's a little bit quicker than my normal deck techs. So hopefully y'all are okay with that. But this is what I would run if I were running a skirmish with Katsu, and I would do it for fun. I wouldn't run Katsu in a big event, but I understand some people really want to run him, and we have some new players in the game, which is awesome. I'm loving that y'all are loving the Katsu content and loving Ninja content, and I'll be trying to make more here in the near future for y'all. And just kind of go back into it. I might do like a how-to series on how to play against each hero and how I approach playing against each hero. So if you'd be interested in that, let me know. and we can definitely do that. But I hope y'all have a good rest of your day, good rest of your night, wherever it is you are. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe on the video if you want to. Don't have to. We're really doing awesome with the videos, and I'm really having a ton of fun, which is like the most important thing to me. So hopefully y'all are enjoying it too. Let me know how I can improve, how I can be better. And I would really appreciate it. But yeah, hopefully y'all have a good rest of your day, and I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much.